Imagine the roar of 100,000 people, the scorching sun beating down on the sand, and the smell of blood and sweat. This was the world of the Roman gladiator. But forget the Hollywood stereotypes of muscle-bound slaves fighting to the death. The real story is far more complex, more thrilling, and ultimately more human. So, who were these legendary fighters? Many were indeed prisoners of war, condemned criminals, or slaves sold to a gladiator school, a ludus. But surprisingly, a growing number were free men, volunteers who signed contracts to trade their freedom for a chance at fame and fortune. They were called auctoratia, and they came from all walks of life: disgraced soldiers, debt-ridden aristocrats, even thrill-seekers hungry for glory. For them, the arena was a dangerous but powerful career move. Life in a ludus was brutally disciplined. New recruits, known as novici, were stripped of their names and identities. From dawn till dusk, their days were a relentless cycle of training. Under the strict eye of a trainer, the lanista martux, they would practice for hours on end, mastering their specialized weapons. They didn't just swing swords wildly. They learned footwork, defense, and attack patterns using heavy wooden weapons against a training post called a palus. Their diet was carefully managed, mostly barley and beans, a carb-heavy regimen designed to build a layer of fat. This wasn't for bulk, it was practical. A layer of fat could protect muscles and organs from superficial cuts, allowing a gladiator to endure more punishment and continue the fight, which is what the crowd wanted to see. When it came time to fight, gladiators were not just thrown into a chaotic free-for-all. The matchups were carefully orchestrated spectacles, often pitting different fighting styles against each other for maximum entertainment. You had the retiarius, lightly armed with a net and trident, nimble and quick, often facing the heavily armored secutor. There was the murmio, with his large shield and fish-crested helmet, or the thraex, carrying a small square shield and a curved sword. Each pairing was a tactical puzzle, a deadly dance of skill and strategy. The goal wasn't always to kill. In fact, death was a bad business decision. A gladiator was an expensive investment, and a lanista didn't want to lose his star performers. The games themselves were a massive public event, often sponsored by emperors or wealthy politicians to gain public favor. The day would begin with grand processions, exotic animal hunts, and public executions. But the main event, the munera, was the gladiator combat. As the fighters entered the arena, they would salute the editor of the games, often the emperor himself, with the famous and likely misquoted declaration. They weren't just fighting for their lives, they were performing for a crowd that craved action and drama. The fight was overseen by a referee, and rules were enforced. A gladiator could surrender by raising a finger, putting his fate in the hands of the crowd and the sponsor. The iconic thumbs up or thumbs down gesture is a bit of a myth. It was more likely a hidden thumb for mercy and an extended thumb, symbolizing a sword, for death. But the crowd's reaction was everything. A brave and skillful fight, even in defeat, could earn a gladiator his life. For the few who survived and thrived, the rewards were immense. A successful gladiator was a superstar, the modern equivalent of a world-famous athlete. They were celebrities. Their images appeared on mosaics, pottery, and graffiti across the Roman Empire. Fans would idolize them, and wealthy patrons would shower them with gifts. They could earn prize money far exceeding a soldier's annual salary, and for those who were not free, they could eventually win their freedom, symbolized by the presentation of a wooden sword, the rudis. These freed gladiators often became trainers themselves, passing on their deadly knowledge to a new generation. Some even retired to a life of comfortable wealth and respect. But for every celebrated champion, there were countless others who met a grim end on the sands of the arena. The average gladiator's career was short and brutal. Injury, infection, or a final decisive blow could end it all in an instant. When a gladiator fell, attendants dressed as Charon, the mythical ferryman of the underworld, would confirm his death before his body was unceremoniously dragged from the arena. The life they chose, or were forced into, was a constant gamble with the highest possible stakes. Their grave sites, when found, often reveal bodies with healed and unhealed wounds, a testament to the violence they endured. The age of the gladiator eventually came to an end. As the Roman Empire embraced Christianity, these bloody spectacles were seen as pagan and inhumane. The last known gladiatorial contest in Rome took place in the early 5th century AD. The great arenas, like the Colosseum, fell silent, their purpose lost to time, but the legacy of the gladiator endures. They were more than just slaves or killers. They were skilled professionals, celebrated entertainers, and symbols of Roman martial virtue. They were men who walked a tightrope between life and death, fame and oblivion, with the entire world watching. Their story is a powerful reminder of the brutality and the spectacle of ancient Rome, a world where life was cheap but glory was eternal. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into the world of gladiators fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more dives into history. Let us know in the comments which historical topic you'd like to see next.